One, two, one, two, one, two. Here we go. Welcome to the Catalyst Podcast, raw, real, and unedited. My name is Jason. And you can find Catalyst at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can hear the podcast created through Spreaker on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart, and Amazon. A catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that's what this podcast will do. Now, if you would like to be a part of this podcast as a guest or a contributor, you can email us at catalystmotivation561@gmail. Catalystmotivation561@gmail. Welcome, 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 welcome to episode 32 of the Catalyst Podcast. Wow. Episode 32. Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get started. Today we're going to be diving into something that's been on my mind lately. Something that in the past year and a half, 2 years, I've really been diving into. In fact, the past 3 years, at the start of the new year, I actually read a book on this topic, Stoicism. All right. Now, before you start rolling your eyes and think, oh, great, another ancient philosophy lesson, all right? Stick with me, please. Trust me. This isn't about growing a long beard and wearing a toga. It's about practical wisdom that we can use to seriously change how we navigate life's ups and downs. So, for those of you who might be asking, what exactly is Stoicism? Well, think of it as the ultimate life hack of maintaining peace of mind, especially when things get tough. It's all about focusing on what you can control and accepting what you can't. Sounds simple, right? Trust me, it's a game changer. All right. So do this for me. Close your eyes. Picture you're stuck in traffic. Especially here in South Florida, happens a lot. Okay. You're getting more frustrated by the minute because you're late for an important meeting. Now, you can let the rage take over, honk your horn, be stressed out, curse, yell at the people that they don't know how to drive, complain about the snowbirds coming, whatever it is. You can do that. Or you can take a page from the Stoic playbook. As Marcus Aurelius, whose meditations I read at the beginning of every year for the past 3 years, he's one of the OGs as far as with Stoics. He said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find your strength. So, you have power over your mind. No one can control your mind but you. No one has power over your mind but you. It's the choices you make on whether to agree with someone or something or not agree with someone or something. All right? When you realize this is when you're really going to find your true strength. So in other words, instead of letting external circumstances dictate your mood, focus on controlling your reactions. Right? Does it make sense? Right? Control your actions. Control your emotions. Control your reactions to the situation. We are far too deep into our emotions and have our emotions make decisions. And sometimes those emotional decisions aren't really the best decisions for us. All right? So let's talk about another scenario, okay? It's actually happened to me. You didn't get the promotion you've been gunning for, despite all the work you've put in, all your dedication. All right. It's easy to feel defeated and resentful and frustrated and pissed off, right? But Stoicism, what it does, it teaches us to reframe our perspective. As Seneca put it, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. So instead of dwelling on what could have been, focus on what you've learned from the experience and how you can grow from it. I love that. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. We will create the worst scenarios possible for ourselves. The absolute worst scenarios possible. But instead of dwelling on what that could have been, focus on what you got from the situation. Focus on the experience, what you've learned from that, and how you can grow from it. I always like to tell this story. In life, you're either looking at a storm, in a storm, or coming out from a storm. And when you're in the storm, you have decisions to make. Are you going to go back? Are you going to stay and not do anything? Or are you going to move forward and look for daylight? And then there's also stuff after the storm. Are you going to take what you learned from in that storm and use it moving forward? Or are you just going to be, I'm glad that's over, I never want to think about it again. All right. So, listen, I get it. This seems a little far-fetched. It seems a little out there. And even for me, when I kind of went through this process, I found myself questioning it. How can this be applied to where we are now? All right. Practicing Stoicism isn't always easy. All right. It requires discipline and self-awareness. But there is one thing that's undeniable, and that's the benefits that you get from it. By adopting this mindset, you'll find yourself more resilient in the face of adversity, more at peace with life's uncertainties, and ultimately happier overall. All right. So, the next time you kind of find yourself getting caught up in the chaos of everyday life, take a moment to channel your inner stoic. Remember, you have the power to choose how you react to life's curveballs. And it's Epicurus who famously said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Think about the many, many things you've had happen in your life and how you've reacted to a lot of them. Have you been calm? Have you been controlling your emotions? Or did you allow your emotions to take over and run and wreak havoc? There's so many people we see. I mean, reality TV has been built on people emotionally reacting to situations. Instead of taking a step back, looking at the situation, what's good about it, what's bad about it, what you can learn from it, what you can do without. But that reaction that we see, even on TikTok, there's one that seems to kind of grab me. It's this person talking about Nirvana being a t-shirt company. And, it's great because they get it. They understand the process of being able to create that hot button, that soft spot, and create that emotional reaction to things. It's just like the emotional reaction we get from somebody thinking Nirvana is a t-shirt company. And I found myself doing that, and I was like, wow, that is so crazy how I kind of got caught in that and sucked into it. And we all have it happen to us. It happens to each and every one of us. And again, it's what you do with it. What are you doing? Are you taking those emotions and you're allowing them to run you, or are you looking at it with a sense of learning, a sense of wonder, a sense of education, and taking it exactly for what it is and not how it makes you feel. I've found myself in so many situations where I've used this process, and it has really kind of changed a lot of things in my life. It's not easy. I mean, I still see myself going back to emotion, especially when I'm in a car driving. But you can use these tools every single day, um, and help yourself to kind of pull yourself away from being the emotion reaction to a logic reaction. I found myself, especially in my personal relationships, in my dating life, there's been many a poor choice that's been made by me because of emotion. And I've been attracted to people in one shape or another who are victims and who are not emotionally all together. And I found that I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, so I decided to go for peace and look for peace and try and find peace as best I can and give peace. Don't be a problem. Don't be a problem. And when I started doing that, I was able to find someone who has really been a difference maker for me. And unfortunately, I have someone who is consistently being a problem in my life. And that was because of the poor choices I made. All right. There were far too many red flags. And I had just gotten out of a relationship that I was hurting. I was emotionally scarred because I cared deeply for this person. And so instead of, well, my reaction to her not wanting us to be together was, okay, well, then that's it. But the after effects of that went into the emotional side and put me in situations that I shouldn't have been in, that I seem to be paying for because this person um, is not letting go. This person is continuing on and trying to create issues. Now, I can react to that, or I can look at it for what it is and learn from it. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I hope I'll continue to do. And with that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for listening to episode 32 of the Catalyst Podcast, raw, real, and unedited. You can find Catalyst at Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. You can hear the podcast created through Spreaker on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart, and Amazon. A catalyst has the power to create change. We hope this is what this podcast will do. Now, if you'd like to be a part of this podcast as a guest or a contributor, you can email us at catalystmotivation561@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening to episode 32 of the Catalyst Podcast. We'll see you on episode 33. Thanks again. Be safe and go be great.